10.
I'm astonished you're not throwing a hissy fit over Broly on here.
Look, I don't hate Broly. I just hate what he represents.
Well, here he's representing
Legendary Super Saiyan.
Which can be described as...
Motherfucker big!
Yes, Kaiser. Motherfucker indeed big.
This may come as a surprise to some, and there are plenty of folks who probably don't even consider Legendary Super Saiyan to be its own form. But considering that it's counted as a form in the Daizenshu,
And the fact that it's shared between both Broly and Kale,
we feel comfortable including this on the list.
Broly's base form in Movie 8 gets overshadowed quite a bit. He's tall, glassy-eyed, and soft-spoken. So when he suddenly snaps, the contrast is stark, and his final trigger sets off one of the most spectacular transformations in Dragon Ball. And after the visuals of his very skin being blown away from his body from the sheer intensity of this transformation, what we're left with is a towering titan of muscle and malice.
in awe of the size of this lad.
An absolute unit.
Throughout Dragon Ball, Toriyama has always made a point of less is more, as if embodying the Japanese design aesthetic of the times. Make it powerful, but also more compact. We see this with Vegeta, Frieza's final form, and even Kid Buu to a certain extent. But Broly is the antithesis of this aesthetic. He's muscles stacked on muscles, with shoulders the size of boulders and a chest that's less barrel and more Bowser. It's like Takao Koyama, Broly's creator, looked at the form Trunks used against Cell and said, "That!" But unironically.
Between the wild hair that encroaches on Super Saiyan 3's territory, those nuclear arms, and the fact that he's literally 10 feet f***ing tall, intimidating is the name of the game here. And it's impossible to ignore how crucial this design was to making Broly's character a mainstay in the fandom for years to come.
He's less of a powerhouse and more of a power mansion when he straight up tanks a blast from Goku's Kamehameha. It's sold largely just by how crushingly intimidating every inch of Broly is. And trust us, Broly's got a lot of inches.
Yeah, you do.
And despite how canonical its name is, it's impossible to ignore the significance that this is supposedly the legendary Super Saiyan.
It is implied that every time Densetsu no Super Saiyajin escaped Vegeta's mouth, this is what they were referring to. At least in the sub-universe created for these movies. This is the ideal Super Saiyan body. You may not like it, but this is what peak performance looks like.
Nope, done with the memes.
I had one about the Hulk though.
Too bad, you're done.
It's hard to ignore, though, that while the actual transformation sequence is amazing, the form is overwhelming, and it's prolific in the franchise, it does go against the same design aesthetics that are inherent in Dragon Ball. The impetus for the actual transformation is also kinda questionable, and Broly as a character, while wickedly cool in his first appearance, would have diminishing returns. His subsequent appearances in Z both mark the lowest of low points for these original films, being laughably bad at best, and crushingly boring at worst.
Which wouldn't so much affect our rating of the form if it weren't literally tied directly into Broly himself, thus degrading its inherent qualities by association. Funny enough, though, we'd see a return of this form in Super.
Now, this is a somewhat controversial topic for fans of Dragon Ball, but I'm gonna say it loudly and proudly. Making Broly a demure lesbian with jealousy issues was the perfect subversion this form needed, and Kel sells it ridiculously hard. It also helps finally provide female Super Saiyans after 2 decades of them footy pussing around it, as well as Caulifla and, in my humble opinion, the stupendous Kefla.
The fact that the form not only immortalized Broly himself, but would find itself inherited by arguably more canon characters down the line should give you the idea of its impact. But funny enough, Broly himself would re-inherit this form in the Super film, well, Broly.
While he's not directly referred to as the legendary Super Saiyan, it is brought up within the film itself, and the form does make its appearance near the tail end after Frieza murders his pappy, triggering the transformation.
Not gonna lie, Frieza's acting kinda sus.
It's not quite as intimidating here though. While he does have a moment to steamroll through Vegeta and Goku, this version of Broly is closer to an Ozaru than he is the killing machine he is in the original Z film. But it's still a sight to behold, and the form's tenacity is only more emboldened by its reappearance over 20 years later.
Long story short, this form is a legendary staple of the franchise, and it definitely earns its spot in the top 10.
This form does beg the question though.
Yeah?
Dear men, what is preventing you from looking like this?
No, fuck you, shut up! Ah!